Ladies and gentlemen, it is Irish Drift Championship. We are now currently in pro today to get the cars 100% without any pro practice, so the pro grid ready and geared up for an amazing day here at Mondello Park. We're also sharing the track with the Irish Rallycross Championship today, which will also be live streamed, so you get to see some rallycross and some drifting, and we get to see who's going to start the season off right. As you can see, a lot of drivers coming back this year with some different setups and different changes. One not doing it though is Pete Nielsen, back in his original car from last year. However, beyond him, as you can see, David Hobbs. And David Hobbs has switched from a Beams Yamaha engine to a 1UZ V8 in this car this year. And as you can see, a little bit more torque, trying to stay with some of those higher horsepower cars. Still on 15s though. And a lot of guys here just upping their power game as they move along through the championship. Remember, all the scores reset to 0 as we start an exciting and probably the most exciting year of Irish drifting we've ever seen. The grid looks incredible. We're going to talk you through some of the cars now. We're going to just get out of the way of the burnout box so we don't get hit by a couple of cars warming up. But last night, here's the interesting thing. Scorcher yesterday. Overnight, a lot of rain coming down. Track very greasy out there. We're getting reports that it's going to be a little bit slippy for practice and maybe the start of qualifying. Looks like it's going to clear up for the rest of the day though, and we're going to see some nice dry drifting. But as you can see, guys are going to have to start off today on the exact opposite setups they had on Friday. It was full sun on Friday, now it is full wet setups. It's going to shake the grid up a little bit in qualifying, I think. And here's another thing important to mention. The highest number of pro drivers in one grid ever before. And for me, that is a very, very interesting thing to talk about when it comes to qualifying. We're still on a top 24 format, but we have nearly 40 drivers. I mean, almost half of the grid ain't going to make it into the twin battles. You can see I've got another couple of drivers here getting ready to warm up. Here's one that has jumped from the Drift Games livery of last year now to the Pro Drift Academy livery. It is Alan Hines, definitely one to watch this weekend. One of the best chase drivers on the grid. Car looking awesome. He's pumped up, ready to go. Of course, everybody knows Alan from all of his virtual representations of the track, but today he's got to do it for real and get into that pro class, his first pro event. Beside me, you can see Charlie Geary. Charlie back with a fairly unchanged setup from last year, still in the M3 Touring, but remember, has taken down more Formula D drivers, international drivers, than any other driver on this grid, so definitely don't count him out. Visiting driver over from Wales, Ollie Evans in the VP Racing Fuels S14.5. Well, he's got to tone it back. Every time he's come to Ireland, he's crashed into somebody. Today he says he's going to do exactly the same thing. He is not holding back. He's going for that top spot. He wants to be the first international to win on Irish soil. Can he do it? Well, we're about to find out later on. Next up, we have got another international guest, Mitch Larner, the Thunder from Down Under, in that LSA 800 horsepower this year on V8 under the bonnet of his one Via. And he said this year he's doing a full season, and if he doesn't break that Irish streak, well, he's not going to be happy. Today, he's going to be going for that very thing. Could it all come down to it? 15 years? One of these two guys may just take it down. Moving along is the man that's currently undefeated in competition this year, winning the first round of the British Drift Championship, two-time Irish champion Dwayne McKeever, back and looking strong. RB26 under the bonnet, switched back from the RB25 at round 1 of EDC, looking very strong in practice. Newcomer to the grid, Danny O'Callaghan. Check this thing out, built by the guys in Quinn M Sport, Joe Doyle and Kevin Quinn. This phenomenal S14. Fresh out the box, looking amazing, looking good, and Danny in his first ever pro practice session here on a Sunday morning. I see how he gets on. Another Pro-Am jumping into the pro grid, Chris Burnett on that beautiful Jap-styled RB powered 180SX. This thing looks so clean. Chris, always a victim of mechanical failures, but he said he spent a lot of time getting this car right in the off-season to make sure it's 100%. If it's excitement you came to see at IDC, well, this man generally provides it. Dennis Murphy, look how awesome this thing looks. Dennis podiumed last year in Watergrass, still in the pro class. He said he's coming back for another one today. We're looking forward to seeing him go. Another man coming into the grid is Liam Devlin, BMW M3. Probably a little underpowered, but he's going to give it a hell of a go today. Very, very good chase driver. As you can see, the rain just spitting a little bit at the moment as our next international driver, Steve Banksy Biagioni, is ready to take to the grid. Back, his car shipped from China for this event. V8 under the bonnet, LS7. Switching from the PS he used for the last couple of attempts to beat the streak here. Says this is a much more reliable and competitive setup. We'll see how that goes later in the day. But Kieran Casey, very, very high rise in the championship. He's been doing an incredible job of climbing the ranks. He is in the Bumbulance, of course. Check out bumbulance.com, charity organization. Give them a few quid. Great cause behind this car. Mark McBackwards, or Mark McBurney, whichever you want to call him, he's ready for pro action in his 180SX, still SR powered. Says he's just squeezed a couple of more horses out of it, but he's here to take on the best of the best. Now, on the grid, it isn't Anthony Galvin, it isn't Sean Galvin, it is, however, their younger brother, Ian Galvin, getting a pro license this year and he is ready to rock and roll in the pro grade. Let's see how he gets on. Very exciting to watch. You never quite know what's going to happen with Ian. Now, needs no introduction. Third place in the British Drift Championship last year. His first year, however, in pro in IDC, it is Conor Shanahan. Conor, 14 years of age still. He's almost 15, but coming back out with a brand new livery representing Link Engine Management, Westlake Tyres. He's looking incredible in practice today. He's got a lot of competition, though, on the grid from some of the veterans, like Shane O'Sullivan in the Jap Speed Maxxis Tyres S15. Shane looking strong out there in practice, but however, my mistake. He didn't get any practice. Had a throttle body issue all through Friday. This is his first practice session. And as you can see, the car not playing ball with him this weekend, but usually a genuinely reliable setup. Next up, we got Mike Fitzgerald representing Team Drift Games Group D, 2JZ powered RX-7. Check this thing out. Last RX-7 left on the pro grid, and he said this year, he's been in this game quite a while, but this is his year. He said he's getting at first place on the podium. They made a huge changes to that car, 80 horsepower. Look at this man, back on the grid for a full season of IDC in the incredible LS2 powered sequential gearbox Winters differential, probably the craziest AE86 ever built in the country. He's back on the grid straight away. Mr. Joe Doyle, making R33 sexy again. Check this thing out. One of the nicest R33 drift cars in the world, a phenomenal build, inside and out. He was coming on strides last year. Expect him to be doing some damage today. Alan O'Loughlin, well, you may not know who he is now. I think that's all about to change today. This guy's gone for a full 2JZ race manifold setup, coming up from the Pro-Am class, no expense spared build, and a very exciting driver to watch. One of the new blood coming up through the championship. Check this out, Kevin Quinn's car. We saw him at BDC take a third place on the podium. Can he go back-to-back podiums here at the Irish Drift Championship? He looks confident, he's feeling confident. He's going to be out there pushing all, no holds barred on the track today. Now this is a car a lot of people talking about. The JDM Chic dealt with R32, looking phenomenal. Not the sunshine he wanted for that sparkly paint today for Brian Egan, but another rebuilt car from the ground up. Said it's much more grippy, much more horsepower. Another man aiming for that championship this year. Big changes for Jack Shanahan, your current Irish Drift champion, switching from the green of Westlake to the blue of Tri-Ace in the off-season, also representing Link Engine Management. And check this out, all these flames on the car, hand-drawn by Jack himself. A lot of creativity there, and he's coming back out. Definitely one of the favourites to win today. Michael Megan, picking up some new sponsors, Mobile One, Flex, and these guys, the guys at PTG Graphics, doing a lot of the wraps on the cars, along with Seamus as well. Those guys splitting the grid this year and putting out some amazing-looking cars. Michael Megan having some mechanical issues, sent that car down to Group D. Darren McNamara and the guys got that thing running. He had no issues yesterday. He's back in the game. As I said, one of the most practical cars on the grid is Stuart Gilmore's pickup truck 180SX, PS13 with a 180S front. This thing is too confusing even to know what it is. However, it is an RB26 powered monster. Broke a gearbox in Friday practice, up late last night. We were leaving here at 11 o'clock. They were up trying to get this car going. Looks like it's working and ready to rock and roll. Watch him as one of the rising stars in the championship. Now, you couldn't say a man's having any better a weekend than Neil Dunn. Picked up the media incentive prize for €500 from the IDC this morning, and his first time now going into pro practice. What an incredible achievement for him. You can just see him pass there. Dean Crozier, the man hitting top spot, or second place, sorry, on the podium yesterday in the Pro-Am class. He's more laps done on this track than anybody. Do not underestimate him today. Of course, Pro-Am champion Lee Scott not making the Sunday simply because he did too good at IDC and BDC. Couldn't afford any more tires. So Dean's flying the flag for Pro-Am. Paul McCarthy, what an insane build this is. Switched last year from a supercharger, did not run right one round. Now he switched to a turbocharger, car running 600 horsepower and looking incredible with the PTG Precision Tints and Graphics wrap. And here's the one everyone wants to see how it goes. The Stone Motorsport new S15. Yeah, get a good look at that. That is a Honda engine under the bonnet. A K-Series Honda engine running 650 horsepower. Full clamshell front. Best of the best. This is the guys, Brendan Stone, looking forward to taking this for a couple of angry rips on the track. First competitive event in this car. Let's see how it goes. Manu, another one, brand new car. Dean Martin. Probably asleep in the car because they've been up so many late nights getting this car ready. Pandam kitted E36 M3. He is one of the guys to watch in terms of aggression and chase driving. Do not underestimate him today. Now, Lee McFadden. We're going to give Lee McFadden a little handshake because Lee McFadden hit everything yesterday, and the only thing he didn't hit was the podium, finishing up in 4th place. But got that car fixed overnight after a big impact with the wall yesterday. Ready to rock and roll here today. And as I said, we're coming back around to the start of the guys here. Practice is underway. Probably the most excited we've been for the start of an IDC season. We've got 6 incredible events. brand new partners on board. The grid looks incredible. We have this is an almost international standard grid. What we're going to see now is some international standard driving. I'm going to go take my place in the tower beside Ian Waddington, beside Kieran Hines, Dan Moorhead and Kevin O'Connor are going to be judging. We're going to talk you through everything that's happening today. I'm feeling we're going to have an unpredictable one. Weather's a little unpredictable. The grid are all some brand new cars, ex-champions returning, brand new blood from the IDC Pro-Am last year coming up. Every score reset to 0. It's go time. After 6 months of talk and hype, we are ready to launch the Link Engine Management 2018 Irish Drift Championship. It's about to go down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2018 Pro Irish Drift Championship, brought to you by Link Engine Management. And just as we finish our intro, the sun shines in Mondello, because even God himself has said, what hell of a lineup have you put together here for the first round? What a stacked grid out there.
Yeah, unbelievable, David. You know what a way to kick off the 2018 championship. You know, stacked grid, an absolutely perfect day yesterday for our Pro-Ams. Couldn't have wished for a better day for the Pro-Am championship to start off, and this excitement in the air. I can feel some excitement.
Yeah, a little cooler today. Actually helps out a lot of the guys running high performance cars. They said it was getting very hot. 42 degrees. Someone had a thermometer in the car yesterday. It was a little bit intense. So today, a little bit cooler out there. Practice stalled a little bit. Steve Baggsy-Biagioni just knocking an oil filter on a curb, putting oil on the track. So a lot of shaky heads down there saying we didn't get a whole lot of practice this weekend. Obviously, we're running alongside the Irish Rallycross Championship, meaning that we have got a lot of action coming up today. For you guys here at Mondello Park, thanks for joining us. For you guys on the live stream right now, you're watching this for free. We're essentially giving you this product for free. You only have to pay one thing, and that is hit that share button at the bottom of your screen. Let's spread this across the world. Let's get a huge amount of people watching these incredible Irish drivers hit the track today. Biggest grid in the history of IDC Pro. 40 drivers going for 24 positions in qualifying. It has never been that difficult to qualify in the history of the championship in 15 years. And we've got some international guests as well, ready to shake things up. Remember, in that 15 years, not one international driver has ever won an event here in Ireland. And we've got 3 or 4 there that have come here for round 1, not the big round 3s and 5s, round 1, saying we want to go at this. We are ready to go to qualifying, and in order to go to qualifying, we need to talk to our judges. Judges today, Dan Moorhead, Kieran Hines and Kevin O'Connell. And we're going to go to Kevin to talk us through, Kevin. These guys are going to be scored out of 100 in qualifying. You're taking the top 24 to the battles. What have they got to do to score that perfect 100?
Thanks, Dave. So starting off from the start line, we want the drivers to accelerate up as hard as they possibly can. Initiate as early as they can also, but initiation is open for today. Clutch kick, weight transfer or handbrake initiation, but clutch kick or weight transfer will score the drivers higher. We want them to slide the rear of the car through clipping point 1, then the nose of the car through clipping point 2, maintaining full throttle from 1 to 2 and then out to clipping point 3. Clipping point 3 will definitely be one of the most important clipping points that we'll be looking at for as judging criteria here today. Then back from a nice smooth transition, not scrubbing too much speed back into clipping point 4, then maintaining a nice wide outside line all the way around Link corner. Out to clipping point 5, then slowly coming away from clipping point 5, a nice smooth transition back onto clipping point 6 here in front of us in the judging tower with not too much angle. We want them to then transition early so they can run the wall down in clipping point 7 here in front of us again. A nice wide line from 7 to 8, rubbing the wall on clipping point 8 again, and then finishing off at clipping point 9 and over the finish line.
Well, there you have it from Kevin O'Connell. Now, that's easy enough to say, and it's not as easy to do. But what we're going to do is show you a visual representation of what the perfect 100 lap looks like. You guys here in attendance can check it out on the big screen. You guys at home are going to get a good idea of what these guys are aiming for. So we're going to reiterate what Kevin has just said. This is the perfect lap of the circuit. So as you can see, it is a full throttle first, second and third clipping zones. Big switchback and slow down on the transition, one of the 2 slowing zones on the track, then run the wide outside line along link engine management corner. Then it's this tricky little snappy transition onto our first concrete wall. Then it's foot to floor as you run by that second concrete wall, and then it's over the finish line on full throttle. It's an interesting track. It's got everything. High speed entry, big slowing area, wide corners, plenty of place to go door to door, and of course, as we always have, 2 concrete walls to separate the men from the boys. But there is a little bit of criteria involved, and if you guys are new to drifting, if you've never watched it before, well, we're going to explain to you exactly what's going to happen next. Each driver will complete 2 non-consecutive scored runs of the course. The highest score after both runs will count as the driver's final score. Each run is scored out of a maximum of 100 by our 3 judges. The average score from all 3 judges will count as a driver's run score. Drivers will be deducted points for momentary loss of drift, understeer, being on the incorrect line, dropping 1 to 3 wheels over the white lines or off the circuit, and a significant contact with the concrete wall, messing up their fluidity. Drivers will be rewarded for extreme entries, touch kick, weight transfer, increased speed, fluidity, snappy transitions, correct judging line, precision, and proximity to the outer clipping zone, so getting close to those concrete walls without hitting them too hard. Drivers will score a 0 for complete loss of drift, spinning out, dropping 4 wheels off the circuit, or an extreme moment of understeer along the track. Driving a section of the course, I mean, it's the Irish Drift Championship, not the Irish Driving Championship. You don't want to be doing that. That's going to score you a 0. So that's the criteria. And what means now we go to the grid. Basically, we're not in championship order, we're in numerical order for the first round. So it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag coming out. I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to this. Are you guys in Mondello ready to kick off the pro season? I'm going to need at least a round of applause from the grandstand.
At least one.
I know it's cold out there. Guys, grandstand, you ready to kick off qualifying? You know what? That's like a 3 out of 10. Let's go to a 5. It's going to get more. Grandstand, are you ready? That's more like it. If you guys online are ready, hit that like button now. Hit it like. We want to know you're following on for the rest of the day. We're being watched in from all over the world. We can already tell there's a lot of people nervously watching, a lot of friends and family on track, a lot of their favorite drivers. It looks like we're almost ready to go to the start line and kick off qualifying. I'm excited. All the scores reset to 0. Everybody's in the even boat now. Everybody's got the same score. By the end of today, it will be a different story. We start with the guys who've come through from the Pro-Am class, kicking it off with Lee McFadden. Lee, who has pretty much repaired all of his car overnight because he hit the wall very hard in the 3rd and 4th place battle, or the semi-final yesterday. He's the first driver to take to the track, Ian, and he's got a lot of laps under his belt from yesterday.
Yeah, a lot of laps under his belt, David. And here comes Lee McFadden for his first qualifying run. This guy finishing off 4th yesterday. Like you say, big contact with the wall in the battle for 3rd and 4th place. But doing a good job so far as he just shuts it down ever so slightly coming through link engine management corner. Could just see Lee McFadden maybe being a bit tentative now, Dave, just putting down a safe one to get himself a score on the board. Bearing in mind, this guy was an IDC driver last season.
He was.
And he literally first competitive time in IDC yesterday.
We say last season?
Well,
that was 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, this year.
5 weeks ago, he was an amateur unknown. Here he is in a pro main event. What a rising star this Lee McFadden guy is. But also, no alignment done in that car overnight. Obviously, putting toe arms and stuff, kind of aligning it by eye and measuring tapes. But yeah, a little tentative there. Lee waits his score from the judges. And Lee McFadden scores a 55.3, I think a 55.3. Yeah, there you have it. 55.3 from Lee McFadden. Hit his four scored run of the competition. Moving on to a man that is having the weekend of a lifetime. Neil Dunn in the MDT Tuning Team Kanjuma. Incredible PS13. Coming in hot every run. Look at that angle.
Yeah, look at this from Neil Dunn. Been firing that car on that big angle, on that perfect line all weekend, and it looks like Neil Dunn is ready to party with the pros today, Dave, as he fires that car around link engine management corner on a very, very good line. Gets on clipping point 6 ever so slightly early, but gets back out nice and wide. He's just going to run the wall.
Nice.
Absolutely sterling job there from Neil Dunn.
Neil Dunn is just hero spec this weekend. No letting back. You know what he said? He's literally doing exactly what he did last year, just minus the crashing. He's just tidying it up a little bit. Guys, give him a round of applause Pro-Am hero Neil Dunn putting in a solid run, one of the nicest guys on the grid. You can follow him on his vlog channel on YouTube. Always building, checking out garages. Definitely check it out. It's amazing stuff. Neil Dunn waits his score from the judges. It is a 71.3. Not a bad start for Neil Dunn, starting as he means to go on. Onto the line we move to Stuart Gilmore. Stuart, 630 horsepower pickup truck, probably the highest powered pickup truck in the country, I think. But it is a fettled pickup truck, starting off as a PS13. RB26 under the bonnet. Owns his own car and body repair business. He's been involved in motorsport since he was in school. Coming from a motocross background, which we see a lot of success in guys coming from BMX or motocross, hand-eye coordination, of course, very important in drifting. Used to mess around a lot of Vauxhall Carltons, but now he's definitely got turned to the dark side of the Japanese culture. RB26, 630 horsepower, and always aggressive on track, especially in twin battles. You can see a piece of glass flying out the back of the car.
Yes, Stuart Gilmore, not a bad job so far, as he comes throwing that car onto the wall, almost makes contact with clipping point 7 there. Brings it across the line, good line as he finishes it off. You know what, Stuart Gilmore, struggling in practice, Dave, managing to find the gravel traps a few times, so looks like he's got that car dialed now, though, as he moves through qualifying.
Yeah, broke a gearbox. They were on the the usual Facebook Friday evening at IDC. Anybody got everything post starts with, and he was looking for an input shaft for a 350Z gearbox. Got it sorted. I saw that car all jacked up last night, getting it repaired at the last minute, and he's back out. What's his score? 60.3. Room to improve for Stuart Gilmore, but did miss all of Friday practice, so not a bad start. Next up, probably the most insane Corolla that's ever even existed in Ireland. 600 horsepower LS2 Corvette V8 AE86 of Adrian Walsh, the mechanic Phil Kilkenny, firing it in on maximum attack here, Ian.
Yeah, big attack there from Adrian Walsh, but gets out the throttle early as he transitions into 4. Now looking to get back on it, left foot braking through Link ECU corner. Good transition as he fires that car up to the wall, but a little scrappy from Adrian Walsh, Dave.
It's a little tentative. He's letting the transitions, and in this car, as Adrian has described himself, is constantly trying to kill him.
Yeah.
So he says that on transitions, he's just being a little cautious, I presume, for the first half of qualifying, making sure he gets a score on the board. And it looks like he will get a score on the board. That's an angry car.
Angry car, yeah.
And inside and outside looks like a show car. You know, a lot of guys come down here to the shows and polish their cars up all day. Adrian does it and then goes runs walls at 50, 60 miles an hour. They're a different breed, these drift guys in IDC. Let's see what Adrian Walsh scores. His first competitive run of the season. And it is a 66 for Adrian Walsh. And we move on to our next driver, Mike Fitzgerald, one of the underdogs of the championship. Always a long time in the game, but financially not always the most secure, just doing as much work as he can, anything he can to get this car going. But look how incredible it looks. Representing Team Drift Games, Group D, Work Wheels, Turbo by Garrett, Turbo Smart, Westlake Tires, JDM Distro, 2JZ under the bonnet, 500 horsepower. 350Z gearbox, and ACT clutch. And look at this, Mike Fitzgerald looking very tidy out there, Ian.
Yeah, Mike Fitzgerald doing a very, very good job there on that qualifying run. Mike Fitzgerald, the showman, managed to keep all the panels on that car for
at least,
and nearly ended up in the gravel.
Yeah, well, Mike Fitzgerald always has a repair build for panels at the end of it, and you can see the splitter starting to give way a little bit there on the front of the car. I think that's a very solid opening lap from Mike Fitzgerald. He said this year he's never won a round of the Irish Drift Championship. He said this year he's going, look at this, 87.7 for Mikey Fitz, starting the season with a bang.
Yeah, definitely kicking it off the right way for young Mikey Fitz there. You know what? Another guy who's come out with that attitude, like Neil Dunn, come out with that attitude that he's not coming to make numbers. He wants to take a championship.
He wants to win the event. He knows on an 87.7. I think
that's a statement.
He's in the battles.
Yeah.
I can safely say that right now. One run, and Mike Fitzgerald is ready to rock and roll in the battles later on for top 24. Let's see who's up next. It should be Shane O'Sullivan. And we've issues again with Shane O'Sullivan's car. Doing a donut there, obviously, and just lost power. So I'm not sure what's going on. He's been struggling since the start of Friday practice.
Yeah.
He had a throttle body issue. You can see our start line marshal, Keen Joy, making sure Shane is underway to take part. Not the start of the season he wanted. Usually so consistent here at Mondello.
Yeah, listen, Shane O'Sullivan, ex-British Drift champion. This guy is very, very consistent, a very, very good chase driver. And again, another guy looking to come and take the championship.
Yeah, Japsby doing so well in the British Drift Championship. So yeah, he's being stalled on the start line by our marshals who are inspecting the car. And it looks like Shane O'Sullivan will make it to the line and get going, but again, not the perfect start. No practice Friday, 2 runs this morning. He's got it all to do on muscle memory now from his many years of getting it up over this hill.
But look at this, Dave. Shane O'Sullivan not scared to throw it in as he fires that car into that turn one, nice and deep in clipping point 3. Gets that car back out on a nice wide line through Link Engine Management corner.
Ian, the boys are on it this morning. These runs are coming in thick and fast. Look at Shane O'Sullivan throwing it to the wall.
Wow, Shane O'Sullivan absolutely flying as he tags the wall again and brings it across the line. Mondello, give him a round of applause for Shane O'Sullivan as he fires it backwards.
Yeah, and of course, for me, Shane O'Sullivan, he had no chance this weekend, and he still comes out and does that. That is a man that is sick of being on the podium and not winning.
And not winning.
We mentioned over 20 podiums in the Irish Drift Championship, never won a round. Well, he's starting as he means to go on as well here. 84.7 for Shane O'Sullivan. Oh, it's getting heated already.
And you know what? It's getting very, very competitive already. And we move it along to the line. Monster Energy sponsored all the way from the UK. Steve Bagsy Biagioni. Big problems in practice, like you said. Look at the aggression initiation from Bagsy as he fires that car in. Nice and deep on 3. Almost drops the wheel, but keeps it together. Nice and wide on Link Engine Management corner. Bagsy converted to Wisefab, and look at this. He has absolutely got it dialed, Dave. Fires it on the wall. Nice and wide as he pushes to clipping point 8 and brings it across the line. Bagsy bringing the fight to IDC.
You know what? We have a problem here.
We have a big problem.
Everybody is ready to go here, and Bagsy puts in a storming first run. Thumbs up to the judges. And with minimal practice with that oil leak, as you can see the remnants of the cement on the track, that was all his fault.
You're not going to let up about that all weekend.
No, he made a mess of the track. But what's he scored? First score is dropping in for Steve Bagsy Biagioni. 86.3 for Bagsy on his first run. Where do we go from here?
Well, I don't know, but Paul Conlon comes off the line. Paul Conlon.
Oh, what a weekend.
Big weekend for Paul Conlon. Blew the engine in Friday practice. They built a motor over the weekend, and they are back on track, and Paul Conlon is looking to take it on this weekend, firing that car.
They got that Buin engine in the first couple of laps practice, brought it to Chambers Performance in Dublin, and the guys went with, and it's back out here and making smoke. What a community of drift fans and mechanics, and I mean, everyone that helped build him is not essentially on his team. They just ran to that garage, missed 2 days of their lives getting that car ready, and look at that, a testament to the community we have here. Not just about hey, huge round of applause. 2 sleepless nights to rebuild this. Representing Link Engine Management, but what has he scored? Well, we wait for the score drop in from Mr. Paul Conlon. And there you have it, 57.3, so off some of the clipping zones there, Ian. I think that was pretty obvious last corner especially. But to even be making smoke. Now here, talk about smoke. Well, it is the Northern Smoke Machine. 2-time Irish Drift Champion, currently undefeated in the UK. It is Dwayne McKeever in the Trias Tires 180SX. Look at this from McKeever running that outside line.
Look at McKeever so deep into Link Engine Management corner. Absolutely flying is McKeever on those Trias Tires as he fires it to the wall. Already damaged from previous wall runs. Look at this from McKeever. All the way up. Mondello.
Oh, and that's... We're in trouble now, Ian. Because that is a huge run. Huge run. This is just the first half of qualifying. Calm it down, guys.
Unbelievable.
Dwayne McKeever, he said, forget it. Come for the championship. 3-time champion. That's what you're going to be calling me in October. Forget about everybody. And that's a way to start a season with a huge run. That's going to be a big score on the board.
A very big score. So we'll wait for that to drop in from our judges, Dave. The score's getting inputted now.
I have never seen a start a qualifying session like this before. Never. And I think that's going to be way up there as well. 88.3 for Dwayne McKeever, puts him into first position at the moment. Oh, I mean, honestly, next up, Alan Hines. We were just announcing his new sponsorship deal with the Pro Drift Academy. He's an online drifter. He designs a lot of the virtual representations. He was even driving the virtual car that showed us how to get a 100-point run. Now he's got to do it for real, and look at this run.
You know what? Alan Hines been looking strong all weekend. One guy to keep your eye on as he pedals his through. Look at the line from Alan Hines as he puts that car to the wall. Pro Drift Academy sponsored driver absolutely laying it down, Dave, at round 1. What an entrance to Pro Class from Alan Hines.
First pro round in the Pro Drift Academy S14 2JZ powered, and Alan Hines showing that he can't just do it on a simulator, he can do it in real. Wow, what a first run for Alan Hines, and this qualifying session, I think, may be the most competitive I've ever seen.
Never in my life have I written down 80s in the first qualifying run.
In the first 10, 12 runs. 86 for Alan Hines. What has happened? Who's been... What
have you been feeding these guys in the off-season, Dave?
I don't know. Engine oil. Mobil 1. Here
we
go.
The line.
Brendan Stone. It's a Honda-powered K20, 650 horsepower S15. What more do you need?
Look at this.
Oh, and the car shuts down. We saw him have some small issues in practice. This car has had no testing at all, Ian, so you can be forgiven for some gremlins. Brand new build from the ground up. And it hasn't had any testing, really. They've just brought it to the show, had some issues, and 650 horsepower Honda-powered S15 in the Irish Drift Championship. No expense spared, flat shift. Oh, what a car, but again, just cutting out on that first corner. It looks like he sort of may have figured it out, but has 0 for Brendan Stone as first run. Remember, he is an ex-Irish champion. Now he's got the tools to get the job done. Got one more run to get it right, though.
Exactly. On the line, Kieran Casey, this guy in practice was sticking it to the door of Dwayne McKeever. And I mean, sticking it to the door. What has Kieran Casey got? He looks like he's bringing the fight for the 2018 championship. He comes off the line through the gears. Kieran Casey, tentative entry, but bringing plenty of speed from Kieran Casey. Washing nice and deep on clipping point 3. Good transition. Needs to get way back on that line. Look at that, nice and deep into clipping point 5 from Casey as he fires it across the circuit and sticks SR20 powered 180 to the wall. Look at the line from Casey as he glues it to the wall and takes it across the line.
You know what? It's coming down to driver numbers, I think, here. They know there's 40 drivers for 24 spots. The safe runs are now out the window in IDC. You see other championships, you score a low score, you can still get in the show. In IDC now, it is the hardest main event to get into of any championship in the world right now. And Kieran Casey showing that you can't back down even on your first run. Great run from Kieran Casey in the Bumbulance car.
Yeah, very, very good run there from Kieran Casey. We'll wait the judges to drop their scoring for Kieran Casey.
And his car supports sick children. It's
I mean, look at that, 70.
Awesome run into 7th position for Kieran Casey. Doing a lot of charity work. He's a support worker. Great guy all right. Now, here's an interesting one. Paul McCarthy returning with a 550 horsepower, wheel horsepower turbo snapped onto the bonnet, or the engine of his car. Incredible stuff. PTG Precision Graphics doing a full nice wrap on this car. He's got the power to get the job done this year, but the line a little bit wishy-washy so far.
Yeah, coming to clipping point 4, looked like the car came off power, just couldn't get it back on where he needed it. You can see car banging flames out the bonnet and underneath. Look at that nice line through 7 and 8. And as he flicks it all the way out to 9, but yeah, you know what, it's going to be sacrifice points for that transition onto clipping point 4.
Absolutely. If you're watching it on the live stream, you're watching this whole show from wherever you are in the world, hit that share button at the bottom. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. We don't want you to pay for anything to watch this entertainment. We just want you to give a little back, and that's hit that share button. We appreciate it from all you guys around the world. Paul McCarthy waits from his score to come in. You know what, looked a little stronger for me in practice than he did in that first run. Maybe a couple of issues, or maybe just that slippery surface in the morning throwing him off a little bit.
Yeah, but you know what, for me, it looks like Paul McCarthy's now got the car that he's needed to win a championship. So big things expected, a 63.7 for Paul McCarthy as we move it along to the next driver on the line.
Yeah, it is going to be Chris Burnett. Chris Burnett from the Pro-Am class, that's your civil engineer from Armagh. Horby 25, 600 horsepower. Samsona sequential gearbox, windows, quick change, you name it, it's got it. And Chris looking strong on his debut in the Pro class too.
Yeah, Chris Burnett absolutely firing it down. RB25, 600 horsepower, like you say, Dave. A nice line through Link Engineering Manager Connie. You could just see him looking out the window. Puts it to the wall nice and close. Very tidy from Chris Burnett.
Everyone's on it here, Ian. Everyone is on their game today. And as you know, you see a couple of maybe seasoned pros step away. Once you bring these guys up from the Pro-Am, the pool of talent is so deep in Ireland that from the Irish Amateur Drift Championship, the Pro-Am and the Pro, we have them all in the Pro grid today. Like, it's crazy. They're just new guys every year coming in and smashing it. Let's see what Chris Burnett can do. It's 72.36 position for Chris Burnett so far.
Yeah, and off the line, your 2017 Irish Drift Championship champion, Jack Shanahan, makes his way down. Smoke in his eyes, big flick from Shanahan as he fires it in. Shallows off the angle. Nice and deep, drops a wheel on clipping point 3 though, Dave.
Yeah, a little bit of a drop from Jack Shannon, coming in extremely hot in this Link Engine Management Tri-8 tire car. He's definitely going to go close to the wall here. Oh! And Shannon's dropping a wheel off the track there. An extreme run. Lots of impact, lots of style, but maybe an error or two in there as well. Jack Shanahan putting on a show. As I mentioned, the livery designed by him by hand, which I was very impressed with today. He is your 2017 Irish Drift Champion. Give it up for Jack Shanahan as he comes across to receive his score for his first run. You know what? He went a little too hot on some areas, but we expect nothing less from the current champion.
Yeah, I mean, very, very aggressive entry there from Shanahan. Just fired it too deep into clipping point 3. He kind of got out of it a little bit to try and save himself, but apart from that, all that, the rest of the run was very, very tidy from Shanahan. So scores are going in from the judges.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he's going to get rewarded for the style and the aggression, but probably knocked down for the wheel or two off. Yeah. So let's see what it gets. It's a 69 for Jack Shannon. 69 on his first run. Heavy wheel drop on the first run, and wheels over the white line, knocking him back down again. So got work to do on the second. Next up, Liam Devlin. Liam Devlin coming up from the Pro-Am class. This is a little underdog hero. M3 powered, but he goes hard into that first corner.
Yeah, looking very, very good in practice. Looked like he wasn't out of place in his Pro class. Look at the speed from Liam Devlin as he fires that car in. Gets back on the power nice and early. Good wide line through Link Engine Management corner. Keeping in it. And absolutely pedaling that little car as much as he can. Doesn't get as wide as what the judges wanted to see onto the two walls, but doing a good job nonetheless as he takes it over the line.
Yeah, and you can see guys like Jack Shannon and Adrian Walsh dropping down to the mid-pack after their first run. We've seen some huge runs come in from some unexpected places at times, and you know what? It's a very interesting start to the season. A lot of guys very hungry to make a name for themselves in this championship, and I'm telling you, it's going to be an unpredictable day. It's going to be exciting from start to finish. It is a 66.7. Liam Devlin jumps into 10th position. You know what? And from my perspective, I mean, it's anyone's for the taking right now. Charlie Geary, next driver off the line. BMW M3, 300 horsepower down the bottom end of the horsepower tree here in IDC. But look at the entry, but he's went a little too hot and just couldn't hold it.
Yeah, had to shut it down, Dave. Flicked it in miles too much aggression there from Charlie Geary. And then dropping way offline now. That initiation completely ruined the run there from Geary. Gets it back together as he fires that E36 Touring to the wall.
Yeah, representing Clonakilty Car Centre, Evolution Studios, Yellow Speed, Premier Auto Parts, Auto Equip, Garage Equipment, GL West Cork Motors, and Toomey Precision Engineering. He said he's got big plans for the 2019 season, but hush hush at the moment, so maybe he'll clean the car. I'm not sure what. But he's always in a good mood. He's always having fun. He's always with the inappropriate innuendos in the briefings. Yeah. Great guy to have around the place, and he scores a 35 though on his first run. That entry almost just taking all those points away.
A guy that has been looking good all weekend, and a guy that absolutely rocked Dunleary last year. Off the line, Chris Brady. This guy, SR20 powered Toyota Corolla AE86, and Chris Brady been going hard all weekend. 50 extra horsepower in the car, and he's certainly making a world of difference.
Yeah, and you know what, Chris Brady always has sort of borrowed cars, never really settles in one, and he's settled with his Corolla, and the more he gets used to it, he got second on the podium at Dunleary in round 2 last year, and right now, looking good on that line.
Yeah, looking good as he takes it all the way to the wall there, and a very wide line through clipping point 9. A little bit tentative for me. Looked like Brady was just kind of holding the safe one together. I've seen him push a little bit harder in practice.
I think that conservative run is sometimes what the spotters or their mechanics will say, look, just get one on the board. We'll know where to work from there. Get yourself in the show, and then we can push for the higher spots. Remember, the top 8 drivers go automatically to the top 16 main event. Drivers finishing from 9th to 24th have to battle once to make up the rest of those 8 spots. So top 8 positions are there. You are 77.3 for Chris Brady, enough for 6th position at the moment. Not a bad start for him.
On the line, the 2017 Pro-Am champion, Connor Shanahan. Westlake Tyres, Link Engine Management comes off the line. This guy looking untouchable in practice, Dave, as he fires that car in. Connor Shanahan just using the foot brake. Look at this from Shanahan. Unbelievable position as he gets that car through clipping point 4. Nice wide line on Link Engine Management. Stands on the accelerator. Chucks that car all the way to the wall. Look at this from Connor Shanahan. Wide line from Shanahan as he almost rubs both walls and takes it across the line. Mondello, give it up for your 2017 Pro-Am champion, Connor Shanahan.
Yeah, if you're new to drifting, just remember, he's 14 years of age. So if you want to be depressed about your life and where you're going, have a look at Connor Shanahan. And Connor Shanahan may be troubling Dwayne McKeever here at the top, I think. I think he may be troubling top spot in qualifying. That was a very, very good run.
And he's definitely going to trouble his brother. That is 110%.
I definitely think it's higher than Jack's score here on the first run, but let's see where he drops in. Check out that screen. Connor Shanahan, where does he go? In his 2nd position for Connor Shanahan with an 88 on the board. Dwayne McKeever still sitting pretty at the moment. Next up, Danny O'Callaghan, brand new car for him, 500 horsepower car.
Yeah, Danny O'Callaghan, another guy looking very, very strong, very aggressive flick from Callaghan, almost dropping wheels over the curb there on initiation. Just locks the front wheel up on the brake very fast into link engine management, but offline ever so slightly, starts to fall down the circuit. Callaghan now way offline as he comes onto 6. Starting to fall apart for Callaghan. Can he get it back and pull a good score on the board for qualifying?
Well, remember, Ian, it is a brand new car for him this weekend. He had an R33 Skyline. Another guy coming straight up through the IDC ranks into the Pro-Am ranks, now into Pro. So a little bit of work to do.
Yeah. So Callaghan's score, we're just waiting for that to drop in from our judges.
And you know what, it just looks badass though.
Oh,
right?
It looks so good.
That Origin Labo kit, 100mm wide fenders, nice.
Nice. Yeah.
80.3, not a bad way to start the day for Danny O'Callaghan. Good score from him. We'll move along to our next driver. It is the newly refurbished dealt with R32 of Brian Egan. A big revamp on this car since last year. Telecoms engineer from Kildare, running a 2JZ 500 horsepower. What a run there for Brian. He almost went off the track.
Almost come off the track, and it looked like his front wheel was hanging off.
Oh.
Yeah, there's an issue with that car, Dave.
It looks like he has an issue here. Something not quite right with the dealt with R32. I was just about to say that incredible paint job from O'Neill Auto Body. All the graphics put on by Precision Window Tinting and Graphics, but definitely something went wrong. He snapped a
toe arm.
You know,
yeah.
He snapped a toe arm in the photo shoot on Friday as well.
You know what? When he initiated, he came into clipping point 3, and it looked like the wheel was hanging off the car. So yeah, it will be a 0.
And you know what? He was saying that he will not raise it. It has to stay at that right height. So he's breaking toe arms probably
just
because
for the points,
for the scene points, and it's hurt him there a little bit. So he's got it all to do in the second one. Next up, a man who's back on form, Michael Megan from County Meath, representing Mobile One. Flex Print and Design, HGT Gearboxes, J&S Motors, PTG Graphics, Westside Tires, 580 horsepower. And you know what? He said he's coming out this year to prove that an R32 is capable of winning a pro event. Loves everything to do with motorsport and adrenaline motorsports, and his dream is to make a podium. Well, he's looking strong right now. Yeah,
he's been looking very, very strong all weekend in practice. Him and Connor Shanahan were going hard earlier in practice and on Friday. And you know what, Michael Megan, they're not doing a bad job on his first qualifying run. Could have been a little bit tidier, a little bit wider, you know, for a bit more impact, but definitely doing the job.
Yeah, you know what? He's out there. He's failed to qualify a couple of times last year with mechanical gremlins and stuff. I think the car is working. He's looking confident. I think that's just put a score on the board time, and it is into 15th position with a 64.7 for Michael Megan.
We go back to the line, a guy that has had no end of problems, Dave, this weekend.
Yeah, he's currently living in the UK, but he's from Romania. Did one round here of the Irish Drift Championship, fell in love with it, and said, "I got to come back."
So that was it. Shipped his car over, and here is Leonard Keppert. Leonard Keppert having problems all weekend with his car. It kept shutting down in practice, but look at this, Keppert on a nice line.
Hell of a line from Leonard Keppert around link engine management corner.
And a good transition, been throwing those big snappy transitions onto the wall all weekend, and Keppert looks like he's got it together, Dave, as he takes it all the way to 9 and across that line.
Well, that's a hell of a run from Leonard Keppert there, and you know he said he bought this car from Andreas Vasiliauskas, and he said from Lithuania. He said it's just a beast. He was trying to get his head around it. Now he's dialing it back in. More rounds of the BDC and IDC, seems to be looking more confident, and that's probably one of the better runs we've ever seen him make in qualifying. So I'm feeling confident for Leonard's progress this weekend. He gets a 59.3 though from the judges, missing a couple of valuable clipping points, but again another score on the board, and that's important too. Next on the line, Mark McBurney, the engineer from County Antrim, representing Drift Shed NI. Second year in the pro class, the only driver in the history of the Irish Drift Championship to go straight from the amateurs to the pro in 1 year. Hit a 400 horsepower. So look at the angle from Mark McBurney on entry.
Yeah, look at Mark McBurney absolutely firing. A little bit of understeer though as he comes into clipping point 3. McBurney struggling in practice, not looking his usual self. Doesn't manage to get nice and deep on 5, and he's on a strange line, Dave. McBurney not looking comfortable as he comes into round 1 here.
I'm not too sure if he has an issue with the car or it's just got a little bit offline there. But yeah, with the level set so high now, with the criteria so difficult, drifting, at this point in time, drifting is not even the problem.
No.
Everybody here can drift. All these guys are phenomenal drivers. You've got to be exceptional to get into that top 24 in one of the most difficult championships in the entire world right now, shown by how many UK, European and World Championships have been won by Irish drivers. This is the hunting ground. 65 for Mark McBurney. Doing some bits right and some bits wrong. Bit of work to do for the second run.
Exactly. On the line, the Thunder from down under. Mitch Lardner making his return back to IDC this season, said he would never go anywhere else, Dave. He's back to take
Oh, look at this entry from Mitch Lardner. Big weight transfer as he fires through that first corner. Wow.
Look at this from Lardner. Absolutely nailing this line nice and early onto clipping point 4. Look at the smoke from the back end of that Westlake tyres. PS13 as he gets it on the wall, a little bit scrappy on that transition, but gets it together again. And arm out the window. Mondello, give it up for Mitch Lardner. So as Mitch Lardner makes his way off circuit, we wait for the score to drop in.
Yeah, Mitch Lardner, you know what, not a quintessentially top qualifying at the last round of the Irish Drift Championship last year, 76.3 there. Just not as deep into clipping zone 3 as the judges would have liked, and the last a little bit sketchy and scrappy on the transition. So work to do, but we expect big things in the second half of qualifying. Dennis Murphy, he's representing Mega Spec Caber Performance, Westlake Tires, Ignite Race Fuel, ECU Master, Euro M Sport, Cantor Tire Centre, and Holland Headstones, 540 horsepower SR 2.2. One of the most aggressive drivers on the grid and hammering the throttle there, almost running out of revs a little bit, Ian.
Yeah, absolutely firing his car around me. And judges earlier talking about how he still pilots this little SR20 S13 around. And Dennis Murphy doing a sterling job as he takes it across the line.
So he comes across the line.
I mean, me and Dan Moorhead earlier just having a little discussion like, why couldn't our SR20s ever sound or go that well?
I don't know what, it's a very strange SR20 because it sounds incredible.
It's a unicorn.
It's just whatever, just everyone needs to measure everything on that car and just put it in every SR20 because it sounds incredible. But he awaits his score from the judges. Dennis Murphy, what's he going to do? Definitely left the track in a cloud of smoke. But let's see how he scores on our scoreboard. You can see Mondello Park starting to fill up here. If you're not here, we feel sorry for you right now.
I mean,
sitting at home and missing out on this incredible display of extreme motorsport action today with rallycross and drifting taking place in the one venue for the first time ever. 69 on the board for Dennis Murphy as he drops into 13th position at the moment. Now, Dean Martin is on the line, but he's not in his new car. Problems already with his new car. He's borrowed a car from Sean Watt. Similar setup though, so let's see how he goes.
Yeah, Dean Martin not having the best start to the season, like you say, Dave, breaking down, borrowed car. Oh, just taking Sean Watt's car, dropping one wheel there.
Yeah, a different sort of set. Yeah, he's never had a practice run ever in this car. So to take someone else's car with different steering, different style, everything in that car is different than his own, even though it's a similar platform.
Yeah.
It's a big ask to come out here and try and qualify at the top level when you've not even had one practice lap. But he does a good job of getting around the track. But he's learned enough, hopefully, on that run to start using it for the second. But yeah, he's on an uphill battle today, Dean Martin.
Yeah, most definitely. So I expect it to be a very, very low score there for Dean Martin as the judges' scores come in.
Yeah, I'm pumped up. We got rallycross after qualifying. I mean, if you're here at Mondello Park, you're in for a treat today. 28.3. We expected the score to be down low. Yeah, docked a lot of points for some big errors there, straightening up quite a bit. Next up, the man who did hit the podium at the round 1 of the British Drift Championship. It is Kevin Quinn in the 700 horsepower 2JZ. Quinn Motorsport. Look at the entry, going insane.
Oh, Quinn has been on it all weekend, Dave, and this is it, carrying on from what he was doing in practice earlier this morning. Absolutely firing that Quinn's M Sport 180SX all the way around Lincoln Chain Management corner. Perfect line from Quinn, slows it down a little bit too much as he comes onto the wall.
A little hesitant there at the one, missing a couple of clipping zones right at the end. But it was a perfect run up until, you know, that point. His entry was definitely the most extreme of the day. He was almost on full lock the opposite way on the way in. The judges want to see that, a little bit of expression on the way in. And of course your entry is open. But let's see what he scores. And the judges having a little deliberation about that one, so let's see what way the scores drop in for Kevin Quinn. Not the perfect end to the run, but definitely the potential to go top spot from the first half of the run. 77 for Kevin Quinn, with definitely the best profile photo of all of our drivers on the grid.
The comedian,
definitely. Next up, Ian Galvin making his debut in the pro class here. The truck mechanic from County Cork, representing CAC Motorsport. Turbo Smart 6 Boost, Power Max and Grimp Royale. 400 horsepower 1JZ, so a little bit down on the power compared to some of the drivers here, but a very aggressive driver all the same.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. Kicking the clutch as you're coming through clipping point 2 to get that car up on boost. And looks like he's managing to get it around this custom circuit at Mondello pretty well so far, Dave.
Yeah, he's not doing a bad job whatsoever. As the sun starts to creep over Mondello Park, it's going to be hopefully staying away all that rain for the rest of the day, and we're going to pray for that. And maybe I've jinxed it, and it's my fault in the end.
You've just said the R word.
Yeah, but so far so good, and the track is nice and dry for qualifying. and perfect conditions for rallycross and drifting today here at Mondello Park. Great to see so many people turning up for the first round. We're hoping to break the round 1 attendance today. Hopefully that happens. A lot of guys interested in 61 for Ian Galvin as he puts a score on the board for his pro debut. Next up, a man who has crashed into almost every Irish driver he's ever come up against. He's from Wales. Oliver Evans in the VP Racing Fuel S14.5. Look at that entry in. He is not holding back this weekend.
Now Oliver Evans has come to put on a fight this weekend. Like you say, plenty of beef with the Irish in the past from young Oliver Evans, the VP sponsored driver. Look at this from Oliver Evans, absolutely singing that Jay-Z under the bonnet. Nice and wide. Can he keep it on circuit? He does. Ever so slightly wavers coming into clipping point 8, but you know what, gets it around. Yeah.
Just went on a little bit too much angle as he came to that second wall run, but you know what, Oliver Evans in the twin battles, he is just, you cannot take your eyes off him.
This guy is door to door constantly.
He doesn't even accept not being close.
No,
it's even if it's going to crash and lose the battle. He said,
He's
I'm not
there.
going out thinking on my drive home to Wales I didn't push hard enough. He said, I'd rather push too hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to see that later on. And one man who's definitely hunting down that undefeated Irish streak on home soil. Let's see what he scores on his first qualifying run. 71.7. Oliver Evans is in the game in 12th position at the moment. Another pro debut for Alan O'Loughlin. No practice Friday. Got the car just finished last night. And we call him Alan O'Full Loughlin because he comes in on crazy angle every time. He's a warehouse operator from Galway, representing O'Loughlin Installation, PJF Motorsport, Bradley Motorworks, and GX2 Automotive. He started as a fan, then he became a real fan, spectating every round. Then he got a car, and now here he is in the pro class. That's the dream right there.
That is the dream.
600 horsepower, and what a first introduction. He gets to the first half of the qualifying session. Alan O'Loughlin putting on a show.
Yeah, very, very good run there for Alan O'Loughlin. You know, not really putting a foot wrong. Entry was a little bit slow from what we've seen from Loughlin, but definitely throwing it all out there. So judges putting their scores in right now.
Cool looking car too.
Very cool looking car.
Yeah, the Galway men have some taste.
Gold,
in cars,
button.
in nothing else. 74.7 for Alan O'Loughlin, 11th position so far, and that's not a bad way mid-pack after your first run. Now, here's a man who was the lowest horsepower car in the class last year, changed an engine, still has the lowest horsepower car in the class, but he got 10 horsepower. He went from a Beams Yamaha engine now to a V8 1UZ. David Hobbs keeps it chilled. And look at this, you know what, this thing can move now with the V8.
Yeah, you know what, that V8 has given David Hobbs that little bit of extra torque that I think he needed. And look at this, that car has never made smoke like this one before. And Hobbs absolutely pedaling this car. If you're a David Hobbs fan,
too much torque, Ian.
Too much
torque. All that 202 horsepower just overpowered the rear end of the car. And I can't believe he's spun it. He's so consistent as a driver. Normally David Hobbs, he's on rails around here.
Yeah.
But you know what? New setup, zeros, puts him down the order. Whew, not what he wanted to start with. Next up, Joe Doyle. He's an all-rounder in Twin M Sport, meaning he does all of the work. That's what I think that means. He's from County Derry, Quinn's M Sport, Top Gear, NI, Cinco Customs, Health Performance, RB25 600. My favorite R33 Skyline in the world.
Yeah, and mine. And look at this, and Joe Doyle can drive it, that's for sure, as he fires that car into link engine management corner, nice and wide, gets on the power early, starts to smoke up those Westlake tyres as he fires that big R33 to the wall. Perfect job there from Joe Doyle.
Not bad at all.
And getting it done, Dave, right there, getting the job done.
I said to Joe Doyle, this is my favorite looking R33 in the world. He said, yeah, it looks so much like an S14. So that's how good looking he's made it, just like an S14. So yeah, great car, fun guy, always smiles and laughs, chilled out. He's almost asleep in the paddock, just chilled out, no pressure on himself, having a lot of fun out there. It's a solid run from Joe Doyle in his first of the season. Let's see which way the judges go. So scores up 79.7, 8th position at the moment for Joe Doyle. And we move on to the other two. Mr. Keep Drifting Serious, representing Drift Games. It is Pete Nielsen, works in IT security. And he is out here in his old car from last year because the new car not quite finished, but he knows this track and this car so well. I give him a good shot. Look at the line from Pete Nielsen. And remember, those 5 or 6 years in the judging panel doing wonders for his driving, especially here in Mondello. He's judged so many guys, he knows what's right and wrong. He's almost judging himself out there.
Yeah, a very, very good driver is Pete Nielsen. Very, very consistent and one of the nicest guys you'll find in the paddock. And look at this from Nielsen as he takes it across the line. Very good.
Yeah, he is got his own vlog series if you want to follow him online. He was also a former contestant on The Apprentice. I never let that one go. He's also half Irish, half Danish. So that's like, I don't know, put a sausage in a croissant, right?
That's kind of like a half. I was going like the Irish breakfast, Danish pastry.
Yeah,
Nope.
I get where you're going with it.
Yeah, I executed it poorly, but
Poorly, yeah,
you
but
get my point.
I
It
get
would
what-
probably be horrible to eat. But he puts in a score on the board, still in that 400 horsepower SR20. Representing Drift Games, Moose Design, Caber Performance, Jap Speed, Mintex Brakes, and Stone Motorsport, Corbor Seats, and Mobile One. He puts an 80.3 on the board. Not a bad first run for Pete Nielsen. Good line driver there. That's what the judges want to see. All those clipping points collected. Next up, another pro debutant is Alan McNeil in the SR20 powered Corolla. Wowed us in the Pro-Am class last year, but coming in on a very strange angle here. Almost overcooks it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Got a lot of understeer there straight away. And
Yeah,
he's
a lot of understeer.
He's eaten one of the cones there. It's underneath the back of the car. And I feel sorry for the cones out there most of the time. I mean, they don't even have the option to run away.
They have a hard life,
They
the
do.
cones. Especially clipping point
We were
3.
at British Drift Championship round 1, and at the end of the first corner, the clipping zone at clip 2 got hit so many times, it looked like Normandy after
cones.
D-Day. There was just cones everywhere. There was cones crying for other cones. It was a mess. So that clipping point 3 cone is basically what we do, what we want. That's the firing squad right there. If
Yeah.
you go into clip 3, you're going to hit a 0 for Alan McNeil as expected.
And that's it, Dave. We move it
We move
right
it back,
to the start.
Back to the start. That's the first half of qualifying now in the bag. We go back to Lee McFadden in his battered and bruised S14 after hitting everything almost last time out. You can see McKeever, Connor Shanahan, Mike Fitz, Steve Biagioni, and Alan Hines. Kieran Hines has done no driving whatsoever, except for the van setting up the track. And Alan Hines sit in the top 5. We run him back. Here we go. Now, this is where it really matters.
Yeah, McFadden right now sitting on a 55, so McFadden outside that top 24, he's got work to do.
And remember, top 8 finishers get straight through to the top 16, 9th to 24th. They got a battle once to get there. Let's see how Lee McFadden gets on.
Lee McFadden got those first qualifying pro nerves out of the way. What has he got? Can he fire this car in and get a real good run in? Looking quick is McFadden as he fires that car, and this is a lot tidier from McFadden. Nice and deep in. Oh, you know what?
Just shutting it down.
The misshift again, I think it is, Dave.
It's like 3rd to 2nd gear there. He's just hesitating a small bit. No doubting his aggression towards the walls and all that kind of stuff, but from my perspective,
that little wobble.
Yeah, it might not be enough here.
No.
It might not be enough with the level so high. Just those, drifting is so harsh. Compared to any other motorsport, you make a mistake, I've got a couple of laps to get back into it. Drifting, one mistake, you're going home.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so exciting to watch. That's what makes it so knife edge. And when you get it right, it makes it so rewarding.
Yeah, exactly. So as we wait for the scores to drop in, a 46, so he will not be improving on his first score.
No, but you know what? Hell of a weekend, 4th in Pro-Am. He's only first
listen,
ever
IDC guy, come all the way through. Look where he is. He's on Pro Day at IDC.
He didn't
Round 1.
even have the tyres or the fuel for this. He didn't even plan for this. Next up, Neil Dunn. He's been looking good out there.
Yeah, Neil Dunn looking to top off the weekend of a lifetime right now as he fires it in. Big angle from Dunn, dropping a wheel over the edge of the curve. Look at this, but it just about manages to get it online again.
Misses clip 2 completely, and he was on the wrong side of the track, so it's going to hurt his score here.
Now pulling it back ever so slightly is Dunn, but like you say, Dave, drops clipping point 2 massively.
Yeah, not bad finish to the run. Just went way too aggressive on entry. I mean, he could have died. He was wildly out of control there for a moment, and then he just sort of kept it going.
Sitting on a 71 right now.
Yeah, has a lot of experience in crashing, so knows what to do when it goes wrong. Neil Dunn, definitely one of the most experienced guys at crashing out there. But this weekend, on rails, unbelievable. But is it enough to get into the top? He's in 16th position at the moment, mid-pack with that first run, so he looks pretty comfortable right now.
Yeah, he's looking comfortable inside that top 24. We move it along. Dean Crozier.
So this is Dean Crozier's
first run. Yeah, Dean Crozier missed his first run. So he now comes off the line for his first qualifying run. The Pro-Am driver yesterday finishing in 2nd place. Oh,
we've got issues again. Big lock-up, and he brings it into pits. Guys, round of applause for Dean Crozier. Not to be today. 2nd place on the podium yesterday, and a phenomenal performance. But in the bonus time of coming to the pros, couldn't get it done and having some mechanical issues. He had a tough weekend on the car though yesterday, so he will not be qualifying. Also now Stuart Gilmore, a lot of misery over the weekend getting that gearbox fixed. Can he get himself into the show? Pro debut. Can he qualify at his first event? It's not easily done.
No, it's not easily done, Dave. Like you say, on a 60 so far for Gilmore.
Wow, what an entry.
Nice entry there from Gilmore. Stands on the accelerator, a little bit of understeer, but gets back in it again. Gets on a nice tidy line, just starts to fall offline ever so slightly through link engine management corner.
He's in 26th position at the moment, so he needs to improve on that score as he gets closer and closer to the drop zone there.
And you know what? I think it's just a couple of mistakes that are just going to kill that score a bit too much for me.
Not exactly what we wanted to see, and we've had a couple of drivers not even make it to qualifying with mechanical issues this morning. So, you know, that first round blues always hits. You know, you think of everything perfect when you start off your build in the off season. You get here and you realize, oh, that's not working the way we thought it would, or we break something. So Stuart Gilmore, one of those guys who's chasing the pack this weekend. 61.7 up for 25th position at the moment. He could creep in. He'll be watching nervously to see how the scores come in.
So we move it along to Adrian Walsh on the line. Adrian Walsh with a 66, another guy who's going to be looking to improve on his score. And you can hear him absolutely flat this time as he fires that Corolla in airless 2 powered, V8 under the bonnet. And this is more like the Adrian Walsh we know, slowing that car down on the handbrake in that de-acceleration zone. Gets back in it again, locking the front of the car up on the foot brake. Nice tidy transition onto the wall for Adrian Walsh. A good technical run, just lacked a little bit of impact.
Yeah, and with a car so beautiful, he's always trying to avoid as much impact as possible. But Adrian, that's a much better run, it looks to me, than the first one. Got rid of a couple of those sloppy transitions. And guys, round of applause for Adrian Walsh as he comes in front of the grandstand. Is it enough, though, to get him into the top 24? The scores will drop in. We'll be able to see how he's getting on. Look at this. It's into 9th position for Adrian Walsh with an 80 on the board. That should see him safe for top 24 action. Will not make it automatically to the top 16, not in the top 8, but he'll take that after the first run. Mikey Fitz, though, what a first run. 87.7 for Fitz on his first run.
What can he do, Dave? Can he top qualifying that Drift Games RX-7 2JZ under the bonnet? Fires that car in absolutely perfect line. Nice and deep on 3. Good transition now. Slows the car down. Just drops ever so slightly off that wide line through link engine management. Gets back on it again. A good transition now. Here comes the wall run that Mikey Fitz likes to use the back of the car to take the bumpers off on. You know what? Technical run there from Mikey Fitz.
We mentioned it yesterday, and if a guy comes out and does 2 very, very good runs, he's very dangerous in competition later on because he looks comfortable on the track. He looks consistent. It's all right getting 1 good and 1 bad, but you know, it's a mixed bag then when you come to qualifying what you're going, or to battles what you're going to get. But in qualifying, you put 2 solid runs down like Mikey's just done. He looks very strong.
Yeah, he looks, and a dangerous. Yeah, look at this, 3rd
87
place.
and 85. He's still in 3rd, but that is a huge qualifying session for Mike Fitzgerald there in the Drift Games RX-7. Next up, Shane O'Sullivan. He did a very solid first run also. Yeah,
currently sitting in 6th place with an 84, so we expect big things from Sullivan. Look at this big flick, big angle initiation from Sullivan. Gets back in it nice and early on the accelerator, washing nice and deep into 11.3. Gets back on the power early again as well. Look at this, Dave, from Sullivan. Sullivan doing a very good job. Big snappy transition now onto the wall. Fires that Jap Speed S15 all the way out. And a deep line into 9th. Good run there from Shane O'Sullivan.
Yeah, showing his experience there in the Jap Speed Maxxis Tires car. Obviously, you know, he's, as he said himself, he's done this first corner in Mondello for almost 8 years, so he's not going to make any. Guys, round of applause for Shane O'Sullivan sending out an SOS. And let's see if he can get a score higher than his first run. And it is. Into 4th position goes Shane O'Sullivan with an 87 on the board. This is a very, very hotly contested qualifying session right now.
Very, very hot. And right now off the line, Steve Bagsi-Biagioni currently sitting in 5th place with an 86. Can he improve on his first qualifying run? Looking strong. Big angle from Bagsi as he finds it in. Can he hold on to it? He can. Washing deep, just tags a wheel on the dirt. He's back in it again. Look at the line from Bagsi in link engine management. This is phenomenal, Dave.
This is a big run from Bagsi here.
Bagsi means it. Oh, big wall run. Nice and wide as he comes into 8. Almost under the wall, arm out the window. Mondello, give it up for Steve Bagsi-Biagioni. What a run, what a showman, Dave.
Well, that's a show right there from Bagsi as he puts in a huge run on his second half of qualifying. He already had a score in the bank.
Can he top it?
Can it top qualifying? Can he beat Dwayne McKeever at the top and set a standard for these international drivers that are here to take on the Irish this weekend? He looks more comfortable than I've ever seen him drive here. So into 3rd position goes Bagsi with an 87.7. He looks comfortable for a top 8 finish, meaning he's going to jump into that top 16. Paul Conlon, the driver, though, not looking as comfortable, down the order a little bit, but a big engine rebuild, a lot of panic this weekend in the link engine management. Hes 15, the guys from Chambers Performance, putting in small nighters there along with a lot of other guys around, and he's looking good here. Car is working anyway.
Yeah, looking good so far. A very aggressive entry from Conlon. Looks like Conlon going to pull it out of the bag, gets to clipping point 6 ever so early. And a strange line as he comes onto the wall, but you know what? Conlon's just going to be over the moon that he's out there and making it happen. The Link Engine Management sponsor driver doing a good job in that second run. Hopefully it's enough to improve.
Yeah, I mean, again, he hadn't had a huge amount, no practice Friday, barely got the car working. They were actually mapping the car while he was going up to the start line. He'd pick the mechanic up from the pits, drop him at the start line, walk back just to make the car was running on idle. 64.3 puts him in 24th position, right on the drop zone right now for Paul Conlon. And next up, it is Dwayne McKeever sitting first position in qualifying at the moment. Can he break into the 90s? 88.3 on his first run. Here we go.
Yeah, 20. Oh! Look at this from McKeever. The 20-year-old absolutely firing this car through. A wheel drop though there from McKeever, not characteristic. Nice and deep on Link Engine Management. Gets that car a big angle on clipping point 6, deep onto the wall. This looks aggressive from McKeever. Big clutch kick as he exits and all the way to the line.
Yeah, nobody's matched that aggression towards the walls like McKeever yet. He's on full lock going to the wall, full lock, and then running right on that outside white line what the judges want to see. One little wheel drop is the only downside of that whole run I could see, and it wasn't a major one. I think that's going to be right up there again.
The entry was just insane, but it looked like it trying to carry too much speed. It pushed him way off.
He went for the perfect run, and that sometimes can go against you, but let's see what Dwayne McKeever's score drops in on his second run. 84.3, still in first position is Dwayne McKeever, but he stays on his first score. Could Alan Hines top him? The Pro Drift Academy S14. He's right in the top 6 or 7 at the moment.
Yeah, currently just outside in 6 is Alan Hines. Alan Hines now really needs to pull it out of the bag. He wants to stay inside that top 5. And looking good is Alan Hines, very conservative on that transition. Gets on the foot brake, balances that car perfectly through Link Engine Management.
It's the perfect line, Ian. It might not have the big horsepower and the big impact of some of the other cars, but the line is exceptional.
Absolutely perfect. Look at that wall run. And again, all the way out to the wall.
You know what? He's going to be a difficult guy to come up against later in the day. He's so consistent and also has driven the track more times than anybody in the virtual world.
Yeah, but you know what? Chasing, Dave. His chasing game in practice was very, very good. You know, that guy getting door to door with a lot of drivers, so...
Yeah, so let's wait for the score for Alan Hines, see what he comes up with on his second run. Remember, he's currently inside the top 8 on his first ever pro debut. Not a bad start to the season for him. Let's see what he can do. 85 on his second. He's in 6th position at the moment. 2 very consistent solid runs. He'll be difficult. Now, here's a man that has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. An 8-month build to get this car ready for today, and it shuts down on its first lap. Can Brendan Stone do it all on his second? 0 on the board. Has to get it done here.
Looks like it's working for him, Dave. Bit of a tentative entry, manages to transition nice into 4th. Gets back on the throttle now, car working. As he stands on the accelerator, that Honda power plant under the bonnet of that S15, nice and close to the wall, and that transition gets back in it again. Big clutch kick. Mondello, show your appreciation to Brendan Stone as he takes that car across the line. Like you say, Dave, 8-month build, an immaculate build as well. Unbelievable what these guys are doing down
Well, I mean,
Stone
it's a full clamshell front and rear end on this car. This ain't about scene points. This ain't about stance. This is about being an absolute rocket ship to drift. And that's what it's doing right now. But again, there are teething problems with every new build. They've had no testing. Look at it, 65 into 22nd position goes Brendan Stone. Nervous moments for him to see if that's enough to get him into the main show. Kieran Casey looking very strong in his first run and ready for his second.
Yeah, Kieran Casey scoring a 70 on his first run, looking good in practice. Can he do more? Can he go higher in qualifying? Bit of an understeer there. And yeah, dropping wheels, Dave. Just carried a little bit too much speed on initiation. Washed himself off. He shuts it down.
Yeah, so his first run's going to have to count for everything here. And another cone dead.
Another cone dead.
Yeah, another cone dead.
Toby will be very fit by the end of the weekend, though.
Yeah,
Marshall.
Yeah, that's a 0 there. Toby, one of our well, it's actually Andy. We've switched him around. I think Toby might have died of exhaustion from chasing that cone yesterday. And Andy, back out on that cone goes. Back more. It's definitely going to get hit again. So we see it as at 24th place now. Michael Megan dropping down into that drop zone position. McKeever still in first. Connor Shanahan in second. Bagsy in third, Mike Fitz in fourth, Shane O'Sullivan in fifth at the moment. Very tight. The big shock there is Jack Shanahan down right in the mix with a 69 on his first run. So work to do there. And Paul McCarthy, if I'm not mistaken, now outside the top 24. Has to get it done on this run. 600 horsepower, up the power, up the looks, but he's got to up his score here. Yeah,
really needs to lay it down now. As Paul McCarthy fires that car in. This looks more aggressive from McCarthy. Good line through clipping point 2 and 3. This is where it all kind of went wrong for McCarthy before. Can he get on the power early? He leaves it too late again. Dave washes himself off that wide line on Link Engine Management. Needs to get back in it. And
Not bad at all.
No, runs that wheel on that wide line.
Much stronger second run from Paul McCarthy here. Definitely giving himself a shot at getting into that top 24. Love the sound of this car now with the turbo.
You know what? I turned up on Friday and I was like, who is this guy? Who's this new guy?
Yeah,
Didn't even realise.
Once the car wasn't painted with a roller, it's hard not to tell it to McCarthy. But what a brilliant job the guys in Precision Tint and Graphics have done to turn this car out this year, and it looks amazing. Let's see what he scores, though. Enough to get him into the top 24. So we await the score for Paul McCarthy. Will it be enough? Nervous moments for the McCarthy guys and their team. It is 7th position for Paul McCarthy. He doesn't just get in, he gets into the top 8.
What a drive from McCarthy. Yeah, unbelievable. Off the line, Chris Burnett, though, in a 72. So this guy going to be looking to just improve on his score ever so slightly. Burnett firing that car in. Little waver there as he initiates. Gets back in it, though. Nice transition from Burnett. Oh, almost dropping wheels on clipping point 4. Gets nice and wide.
I think he got it nailed in there. I think this is a big run so far from Chris Burnett. Much better than his first. Can he hold it together? Look at that outside line, hugging that outer white line. That's exactly what the judges want to see. Full throttle to the edge of the circuit. Chris Burnett, when that car works, and hopefully it does work this year, he is relatively unstoppable.
Yeah.
He missed out on, I think we counted something like 7 podiums by his car like breaking down in the semi-final. Like literally 7 podiums.
Yeah, that was the most unluckiest guy ever.
Yeah, and right now looking very strong.
So judges' scores drop in. Where does it put Chris Burnett?
16th position, yeah, 73.3. He improves by 1 point on his first run, 2 consistent runs. Now here's a big one. Jack Shanahan, sitting right down the order, has to get it done here.
Yeah, one job really now to try and get it inside that top 8. What has he got as Jack Shanahan, your 2017 IDC champion, fires that Tri-Ace Tyres Link Engine Management car. And look at the angle from Shanahan on clipping point 3. Can he hold it together? He can. Nice and wide on Link Engine Management corner. Gets back in the accelerator. Big fast run from Shanahan so far. Can he put it to the wall? Of course he can. All the way out, nice and wide on 8, tagging the wall as he takes it to the wall. Arm out the window. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jack Shanahan.
I mean, he has to get it done. He's in 20th position right now. He's obviously going to jump up after that run. But guys, under pressure, your champion. Give it up for Jack Shanahan. He put a hand out the window on a run that he had to get right to be even in the show. It's just huge confidence underneath the helmet in that car. Let's see if it's enough to climb him into the top 8. It was a big run. There was a falter here and there on transition, not perfect. I mean, Jack's still dialing that car in, I think. But let's see if it's done enough to get him up the order. There you go. Into 7th position goes Jack Shanahan with an 82.3. 7th position for Jack Shanahan right now. Liam Devlin's up next. Liam Devlin in the M3. He's a farmer contractor from Antrim, representing Devlin Trailers, Westlake Tires, JMC Boiler Services, Wattfab Lock Kits, and DM Alignment. He's been drifting for 4 years. And this was actually a road car originally that he just converted for a bit of fun, and now he's in the pro class of IDC.
Yeah, look at this big angle transition there from Devlin. Can he keep it together, looking tidy as he comes through clipping point 5? Very, very consistent drive so far from Devlin this weekend. Nice transition, very much using that clipping point 7 as a touch and go. And a very strong performance there from Liam Devlin.
Great line driver, lots of experience, even though he's coming into the pro class for the first time. He's a long time in pro-am and always one of the most aggressive guys on the grid. Got it all together last year, got his license, and now looking very comfortable here in the pro class. Maybe doesn't have the speed or the impact of some of the higher horsepower cars or the more experienced drivers in pro, but I think that's a solid score from him. And remember, we go to Rallycross after this, so it just does not stop today.
Non-stop action. And look at that.
Yeah, 13th position for Liam Devlin with a 77.7, right up into the mid-pack, exactly where he would be hoping to stay. Charlie Geary, though, he's right down the order. Big mistake on entry, outside the top 24. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, sitting with a 35 right now. Charlie Geary needs to make it happen with 1 run left to get it done in. Oh, and again, Dave, big understeer through clipping point 2. That's going to hurt his score. He fires it, wheels over the line on Link Engine Management corner now. Chuck Geary clutch kicking that M3 motor underneath the bonnet of that E36 Touring. Manages to get it together this time, Dave, but is it enough to get inside that top 24?
I don't know. There's a lot of big scores coming in now and a lot of technical runs coming now. This is really crunch time for a lot of these guys. You'd be expecting to get into that battle action later on. I think this is going to be one of the toughest years for these guys to be able to consistently get qualifying runs in. It's a real baptism of fire, especially for the guys coming up from the Pro-Am class. So let's see what Charlie scores on his second run. It was a much more improved run, so I think it's going to put a decent score on the board. And hopefully it gets him right up the order. Let's see what happens. Oh, not enough for Charlie Geary making those errors, and a little improvement, but not enough to get him in. And he just didn't look comfortable on both runs there, Charlie Geary. Next up, Chris Brady is looking quite comfortable in his SR20 powered Corolla.
Yeah, Chris Brady looking good. Looked a bit careful on the first qualifying run now. Is Chris Brady going to let it all hang out for the second run? Certainly looks so as he transitions into clipping point 4. Shallow on link engine management corner. Could have been doing a bit wider to get maximum points. Starts to reel it in now though as he puts that car right on the wide line for clipping point 8, almost tacking the end of the wall. And Chris Brady putting in two very, very similar runs there.
Yeah, and you know what, looking very comfortable. Always does here in Mondello, as long as the car stays going. And I think Chris is going to be a real contender today. Hit a podium in IDC. Like, I mean, let's put it this way. In the last 5 years, only 6 drivers have got a first place in IDC. That's how hard it is to win an event.
Yeah.
He did come second, though, however, yesterday. Wanted to go one more. A little, you know, down on his first run, but he's still in 14th place. Should be good for top 24 action later today.
So off the line, Connor Shanahan, the 2017 Pro-Am champion.
He could top qualifying here. He's looking very comfortable.
Oh, look at that from Shanahan. Big aggressive initiation. Grabs a little bit of understeer, but keeps in it. Westlake Tyre sponsored link engine management driver gets nice and personal with clipping point 5 as he stands on the accelerator. Look at that, all the way to the white line. Connor Shanahan absolutely on point. Arm out the window as he takes it across the line. Very confident.
Yeah, you could remove arms from the Shanahan brothers and they'd still be able to go around the track. Do you know what though? I don't think as aggressive as McKeever on the second half of the course. First half, very, very, very good. So yeah. I think he will probably stay in second. That's just my opinion. But I might have, you know, we're not judging the scene, so we just make. But I think, yeah, McKeever a little bit more aggressive than he did of a wheel drop. So I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know.
It's definitely up there. It's definitely a high score. First 2-3 clipping zones, absolutely perfect, all the way around link engine management corner. 83.7, there you are into second position, kind of what I expected, but his first run, he knew himself, hand out the window, it was enough for a top 8 anyway. So he's into the battles and definitely the top 16. Daniel Callahan up next. Yeah,
currently sitting with an 80, a 9th position. So Daniel Callahan, look at this, aggressive from Callahan as he fires in. Aggressive, opposite flick, gets on the power nice and early. Washes nice and deep into clipping point 5, just slightly falling off that high line. Callahan gel into this new chassis. Oh, runs the back of the wall, but puts himself offline, Dave.
Hit it a little. I mean, people think we put these walls in because you want people to hit them. That is not the case. It's just, you know, getting close. That's the precision element of drifting. You tag the wall, it's going to mess up your line, and that's going to mess up your score. So hitting walls is not what drifting is about. It's a non-contact sport. You just got to get very close to the contact and then just be like a couple of centimeters away. That's the idea. So yeah, Danny messing up a little bit there, but you know what, I'm putting a scratch on that new car, and that might just make it a little bit more. You might go, you know what, it's done now. It's been damaged as we have a little spillage here in the tower. Yeah, a little bit of wind came through. It's pretty windy here in the tower. People don't realize it. But yeah, so next up we have got Daniel Callahan's score. Yeah, into 8th position. Well, he's already in 8th position. Does not improve on his first run. But for a Pro-Am driver to be sitting inside the top 8. Now here is a pro driver not sitting inside the top 24. Brian Egan breaking a toe arm on his first run and having a 0. Has to get it all done here.
Yeah, very aggressive there. Opposite flick. Now look at this. Brian Egan wanting to make it happen. Got that steering arm fixed and fires that car into link engine management corner on the accelerator. Look at that nice tidy line there from Brian Egan as he gets to the wall, almost rubbing that drag wing all the way along it. Look at the line from Egan there as he comes through clipping point 8.
I don't know. I mean, he was trying to get into the top 24. I think he might have just got towards the top 8 there. That's a cracking one from Brian Egan in the R32. As I mentioned, running the car so low that it's breaking toe arms and suspension parts, but he won't raise it. He says it doesn't matter. This is low, it has to run.
Cool, yeah,
and he still has all the body panels attached, but is the score enough to get him up the leaderboard? It definitely looks solid from where we're sitting. Into 7th position goes Brian Egan with an 83 on the board, and he is into the top 8 for the moment. Michael Megan, our next driver to go.
Yeah, Michael Megan currently sitting with a 64. And Megan, look at this, big initiation from Megan, firing that car and looking comfortable. Like you say, Dave, car problems keeping him at bay last year. It looks like it's working for him now. The Mobil One sponsored driver. Just a little error there as he transitioned to the 6. Starting to look scrappy now from Megan.
A wheel off there, but you know what? Again, at this level, you got to be absolutely pinpoint accurate. That's what this sport is all about. It's not just about smoke and angle. It's all about, and I mean, the stuff we like to watch is great, smoke and angle, and wheel drops and everything in between. But the problem we have is the criteria that the judges have to score to, which essentially is how you divide these drivers, and you have to have a criteria, is quite precise. And if you're not on that criteria, you're going to bleed points here. And Michael making a couple of errors there on his second half of the run. So it's interesting what his score will be, but it's an improvement, 71, and he's into 22nd position with a 71 on the board from Michael Megan. Leonard Keppert up next from Romania, residing in England and now coming to Ireland. A lot of traveling, awesome car. Let's see how he gets on the Iron E46 BMW. Oh, a little bit wide.
Yeah, very, very wide. Manages to hold it, gets it back online, but now starts to fall back offline again, Dave. Very, very scrappy from Keppert. Currently sits with a 59 in 30th position, so Keppert really needed to put down a good run. I don't think, Dave, this is going to be enough to improve.
I don't think so. I mean, he's definitely looking more comfortable in the car, but I don't know if it's enough to get him into that top 24. Remember, it is a very tricky day here with so many pro drivers trying to get into those top 24 positions. Let's see, though. We don't know. We're not judges.
Yeah, we don't know.
Thank God, because things are pretty hectic out there today. And 57, well, 30th position, not enough for Leonard Keppert, but you know what, signs of improvement there across the board for him, looking a lot more confident in the car. Mark McBurney up next. He had a pretty good first run.
Yeah, McBurney was sitting on that drop zone, that 24th place. I'm not sure where he's sitting at the moment.
He's definitely outside the top 24. That's the problem there, because he's been bumped down by a couple of runs coming in. Has to pull a big run out of the bag here. McBurney has no option but to go full 100% hard into that car, and look at that flick.
Yeah, big flick there from McBurney. Keeps in it this time. This looks a lot better from McBurney. This looks like the style of driving we have seen before. Back on the accelerator. Look at this link engine management corner. Absolutely smoked out by Mark McBurney. Gets it to the wall. This is a real good line from McBurney. This looks like a completely different car, Dave.
It does indeed. Incredible stuff from Mark McBurney on his second run. If you're watching it on the live stream, remember we're streaming live on Facebook, we're streaming live on YouTube. We're also streaming live on our website, idcnation.com. If you want full HD coverage with no ads and no breaks and no stops in the stream, go on to idcnation.com. That's where the true fans are. Because you know it doesn't stop all day. You can watch it all day. Mark McBurney waits for his second score. For you guys in Mondello, we got Rallycross coming out here. The big dogs of the Rallycross world coming out here after qualifying. Going to be exciting. 83.7 for Mark McBurney. Goes into 7th position. And then, I can't believe it.
And then off the line is Mitch Lardner, the Thunder from Down Under, scored a 76 his first run. What's he got? He comes in hot, Dave. Mitch Lardner, fire it in. Mistakes his first run. Is it too much? Dropping wheels. Mitch Lardner pushing too hard as he comes around link engine management corner.
He's going for that 100-point run, but he's making errors. He's dropping wheels and going for that wall. You know what? He's one of the most exciting guys to watch on the grid, but I can't help but think the judges are going to see those wheel drops and those little bit of errors at different clipping zones. And he's got all the impact, all the style, but you got to be precise.
Yeah, like you say, dropping wheels and very, very wild driving.
People complain about coming 2 hours down the road to watch this event. He comes from Australia 6 times a year to do these events, and you can't make it up the road? Come on. This guy is jet lagged most of the weekend. He's living in the middle of the night in Australia most of the time. But has he enough to get into the top 24? Let's see what the scores come through. Mitch Lardner waits his score from the judges. Get a nice high shot there of the Mondello Park. So you can see that.
Look at that, the clear skies.
Mountains in the background, beautiful. There's 79.7, 14th position for Mitch Lardner. He sits in the mid-pack so far. It looks like he's going to have top 24 battle action later on today. Dennis Murphy is our next driver up. He's got it dropped outside the top 24. Got to improve things here too.
Yeah, got to make it happen right now. Dennis Murphy, as he fires that car in, just comes off a throttle a little bit too early, but gets a good line, Dave, as he fires that car in to clipping point 4. Shallow on that wide line. Oh, and shuts it down, does Dennis Murphy.
Oh, that's a problem with the car, and that will spell the end of his weekend. They've had that car with so many different problems over the weekend. And Friday, they were running around for injectors and different things, so it wasn't a smooth weekend for Dennis Murphy, having issues from the start, and that definitely looks like he's either killed the car himself or something's broken on the car. And that is not exactly what you want to see here in the qualifying session. Is 25th position. He's outside the top 24 for Dennis Murphy. Not the ideal start to the season at all. And guys, give a big round of applause. They put their heart and soul into these cars, every penny they have, and they only have 50 seconds to get the job done. And when the car breaks down, what can you do? I mean, it's just heartbreaking stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it is heartbreaking. So you see Dennis Murphy under the bonnet there. I mean, it's frustrating, Dave. That's what it is. You know, you put, like you say, you put your heart and soul in it. You've got your friends, your family, guys working on that car all winter, and they come to the first round, and then all of a sudden, you know, you suffer with one little problem.
Yeah, but this gives us a chance to talk you through what's happening for the rest of the day here if you're in Mondello Park, which of course you should be.
You should be,
supporting Irish drifting. Thank you everyone for turning up today. We have got Rallycross taking place just after Pro qualifying. We're back for our Pro Top 24 battles at half two. We kick off the Pro Top 24, then back to the finals of the Rallycross, and at half 4 this evening we go to our Top 16 main event. So drifting, Rallycross, drifting, Rallycross, drifting. That's how it works.
What more do you want?
It's like an extreme sports sandwich. And we are also going to talk to you about a very, very special thing that's going down. It is the last time, round 2 of the Irish Drift Championship, the last time we will ever be in the ferry terminal, in the docks in the marina in Dunleary. If you weren't there last year, and a lot of you weren't because we only had 2,000 tickets on sale, it sold out in 3 hours. This time around, we're going back 2,000 people, but it's the last time.
Yeah, I mean,
we are going bigger and badder, new things, new grandstands. We're going to the biggest event we've ever done there of the 2. We're going to make this a final to remember. It's the last time we're going to be there. We're going to show you what that is all about, though. If you've forgotten, if you don't even know, tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, tickets are on sale. Once they're gone, they're gone. Don't even Facebook message me, because that's what everyone was doing last year. Check it out. If you haven't seen what went down last year, watch the screen in Mondello. Check it out at home. This is Drift on the Docks 2 coming next month.
This is my world. Oh, you took the wrong turn. Now you're stuck in my world. Trust me, this is gonna hurt. I will have to watch it burn. This is my world.
So there you go, as Dave said, tickets go on sale tomorrow morning at 9 AM. Do not miss out. Like he said, if you wasn't there last year, the atmosphere alone at Dunleary was insane. And you know what? Bigger things to come this year from Dunleary. So we are very, very excited about that. We go back to the line for our next driver. It will be Dean Martin in that borrowed car from Sean Watt. Unfortunately, Dennis Murphy scoring a 0 on that incomplete run. So we are off the line with Dean Martin for his second qualifying run. Dean Martin currently sitting with a 28, so outside that top 24. What can he do as he fires that car? And Dean Martin looking a lot more consistent. Oh, and takes it completely off circuit. Almost takes out the wall and fire extinguishers. And you know what? Such a shame there. Dean Martin working very, very hard. Got that new car together. Not working out for him. Borrowed a car. And just problems after problems there for Dean Martin. So that will be a 0. Unfortunately, end of the weekend there for that young guy.
A lot to expect, though, to come out in a borrowed car and put it all together at this level. You know, Pro-Am maybe, but he's never driven the car before. He goes off the ground. And you know what? I was just thinking, it's not his car. If he hits that barrier, there's going to be some serious conversations in the pits with Sean Watt, but he gets away with it. Not the perfect start of the season for Dean Martin, but you know what? He said himself, this is a learning curve for him with the new car. Obviously, issues causing him to not bring his own car out, but Kevin Quinn is our next driver, and Kevin Quinn has been looking very strong. Almost went over the top on his first run.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Quinn came to the BDC, got a podium, Dave, looking strong, started off the year in a very good form. And look at this from Kevin Quinn, managing away from the start line. Big aggressive initiation from Quinn as he fires that car in. 700 horsepower, 2 JZ under the bonnet. Aggression from Quinn. Can he get nice and high on link engine management? He can, but he drops wheels. He's in the gravel, Dave.
Oh,
what has happened to Kevin Quinn? And maybe a problem with that car, potentially.
I honestly can't believe it. After the practice we saw from Kevin Quinn, I expected him to be right up in that top 8, and There you have it. 18th position is where he sits for the moment. So at the moment, he's going to have to hope that he doesn't get knocked down the order too much. There are not many drivers left remaining, so that might be okay. A little bit of rain just spitting on the track. Not enough really to change the conditions, I don't think, but it's going to make that first corner a little bit greasier for our next driver, Ian Galvin.
Yeah, Ian Galvin scored a 61 on his first run, so definitely work to be done there from Galvin.
Yeah, with the black cloud that passed by Mondello, we did pretty good just to get a spit of rain.
Yeah.
I think it's going to stay clear after this, so it shouldn't wet the track too much. Ian Galvin takes off the line.
Yeah, Galvin off the line, needs to really lay it down now. As you can see, nice initiation from Galvin, big speed, but yeah, a little bit of water on that initiation, making things a little bit sketchy for Galvin. Gets on a good line.
Track's still dry though, you can see plenty of tire smoke, but his line just a little bit off here.
Yeah, ever so slightly offline, manages to get it back together again, but a late transition onto the wall. Looks like he's struggling with this, Dave.
Yeah, 2 wheels off the track there as well. Oh, a couple of errors there, and at this level of competition, you can't afford to be making those errors,
No.
you know. Pros not getting a huge amount of practice this weekend. Like obviously Rallycross, 2 events taking place on the one day, shortening that, but a lot of these guys used to this layout. Ian would be used to this layout, but just not looking super confident in his second run. And as you can see, a little bit of rain falling on the track. It's a quick shower here, which could shake things up for the last couple of drivers. He sits at 29th, so outside the top 24 right now.
Yeah, not good there for Ian Galvin. We move it along. Oliver Evans with a 71 on his first run.
Yeah, doing a lot of tire smoke there to make sure he's got heat in those tires, but now it is greasy out there. You can see that little spitted shower that's just dropped over the track. It's going to hurt Oliver Evans here. He's coming in on a track. He has to look at that full wets now. Almost instantaneously, Oliver Evans comes in way too hot.
Way too hot for Oliver Evans. He grabs understeer.
And just avoids a big impact, and I think he's going to have to rely on his first run there.
So as we get Oliver Evans.
Yeah, just a quick announcement here at Mondello Park. If you have lost your keys, we have found a set of keys here in the tower. Make your way to the IDC tower at the end of qualifying. We have a set of keys here if you've lost them. For a van, I believe they were found in the toilets. So, you know, you have things to worry about, but we got your keys up here in the tower. Oliver Evans 0 on his second run, but enough from his first to stay in it. And we are going to have one of our security guards hang by the tower just for a few moments, just to make sure if you've lost your keys, head towards the IDC tower. Now, Alan Loughlin's throwing it in here.
Throws it in. Alan O'Loughlin throws it in and gets it wrong. Dave on initiation completely drops clipping point 2 and drops off track. Completely getting this wrong, Dave, is Alan O'Loughlin. Now look at this completely wet circuit.
Alan O'Loughlin, though, again, that water on the track, Ian, causing all sorts of issues.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely ruined that run there from Alan O'Loughlin. So wait to see what the judges' scores come in as.
Yeah, Alan O'Loughlin is, I mean, it's unfortunate for these guys because now the rain has passed, the track will start to dry again.
Yeah,
but that spit of rain has just cost a couple of guys some runs there.
And you know what? Someone who didn't want rain really is David Hobbs. Sitting on a 0, needed a good score. Yeah, I mean, a 32 there for Alan O'Loughlin.
But he's still in the game, 19th. Now, David Hobbs sometimes praised for rain because he's got no 200 horsepower, but it's unpredictable on entry here now, and he's got to make it all happen. The little underdog, Corolla. Oh, he's dropping wheels.
And he completely drops clipping point 2. Can David Hobbs hold it together?
He's back on it, though.
Yeah, he is back on it, but it's very wide. And
and off the track
Hobbs
goes David Hobbs into the gravel, buries it in the gravel, and David Hobbs, who it's usually power rather than driver ability that stops him from progressing in IDC. Today, I think just getting used to that new setup in the car has cost him a little bit, and yeah, he's buried in the gravel there as David Hobbs gets out of the car. Guys, give him a round of applause, pushing very hard. The forever underdog, David Hobbs, but not to be today. Stays outside that top 24, and I mean, we've had 4 seasons there in about 15 minutes.
That's
we had like
insane.
wind, then we had some cloud, then we had rain, now we've got sunshine. It's going to be one of those days.
It's going to be, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those days. And you know what? I just hold it. The weather holds together for a pro final.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to see rain here, but again, it mixes up the championship as well. So
massively.
you know, you can see Oliver Evans so comfortable all weekend, spit of rain off the track, and that can happen in battles, and anything can happen in battles later on. Remember, we go to our top 24 at half 2. So half 2 we're back for our top 24 battles, and half 4 for our top 16 parade and finals today. Zero, there you go, outside the top. He even looks sad in his photo because he may have preempted this happening. And yeah, we go back to like Joe Doyle. Now Joe Doyle, of the 2 Quinn M Sport cars on the grid, he's been looking the stronger in qualifying. It looked a little bit the other way in practice, but again, it only matters when it matters, and you can't win practice and you can win the battles. Again, getting in the show, so important for these guys after months of preparation.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, Joe Doyle looking very, very aggressive. I mean, he's driving, though, is just unbelievable. The guy has kind of come on leaps and bounds in the last 2 years, and definitely a very good contender for a championship. So big things expected from Joe Doyle. So we're just getting our track staff are just moving off the circuit. Now we've recovered David Hobbs.
Yeah, so David Hobbs is our another victim of this tough qualifying session. Let's see how he progresses for the rest of the season when he gets back out to the more, like Dunleary, those type of tracks can suit him a little bit more.
Yeah, the smaller technical ones are where he kind of shines,
So Joe Doyle, though, he's got plenty of horsepower under the bonnet of this car, so I can imagine him definitely going for a big run here.
Yeah,
he sits in 15th position, so he's sort of mid-pack. I think he'll be happy enough to say that at this point in time, he is comfortable maybe to get into the battles. But look, he's coming with a big weight transfer entry here.
Yeah, big aggression there from Joe Doyle as he fires it in. Very, very committed is Joe Doyle. He's got all the grip in the world as he fires that Quinn's M Sport R33 on that wide line through a Link engine management corner. Joe Doyle, though, gets to clipping point 6 early again. Gets back on that good wide line. Can he get all the way to the wall? Just a little waver there and a flick across the line.
Yeah, good second half of qualifying for Joe Doyle. Looking very comfortable out there, Ian, and I'm enjoying the fact that he's so relaxed in the car. But he said he's made some changes that has really transformed it. And, you know, R33s are never really seen as a very competitive car in modern drifting, but now he's proven everybody wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, look at the build of that car alone is just phenomenal, and what Joe Doyle does. And Joe Doyle jumps into 10th position with an 80. So Joe Doyle.
Great run there from Joe Doyle. Bumps him up. Next off the line is Pete Nielsen, sitting sort of mid-pack, if I remember correctly.
Well, he got an 80 on his first run, so Pete and Nielsen really throwing it all out there in his last season car. Listen to Pete and Nielsen. Absolutely flat, but yeah,
car shuts
massive
down.
misfire. Yeah.
And I think that's a boost pipe coming off or something like that, because as you went on the throttle at clip 3,
you can hear it right now.
You can hear it missing in front of us. Guys, round of applause for Pete Nielsen. Looks like he might be back for battle action later on if the scores stay as they are, but that's definitely a boost failure or a misfire. Something's just popped, so it sounded like a pipe to me. Went on power, no power at all. So if 13th position is where he stays at the moment. It's good first run. It shows how important it is to get that first run in. Take the pressure off. You never know what's going to happen in the second. Alan McNeil, though, not having the perfect first run, has to do it all here.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Scored a 0 on his first run. What can Alan McNeil do? Final driver in our qualifying session here at IDC Round 1. Alan McNeil not doing a bad job. Just missed clipping point 4 there. Trying to make it happen as Alan McNeil pins it to the wall. Kind of gets on a good line now as he nails that car all the way to the wall through 8 and 9. But could it be too much too late as he takes it over?
Yeah, and I said a lot of big scores after dropping in. Alan McNeil, if I'm not mistaken, our last driver to take to the qualifying session here, as we run in numerical order this year and rather than championship order at the start of the season. He is our last driver to qualify. So let's see who's made it through to that top 24. We now know the scores are locked in. So we will be able to give you that leaderboard and tell you exactly who has made the jump into the top 24. Alan McNeil scoring a 64, not enough to get into the top 24. So that is the end of our qualifying session here at round 1 of the Link Engine Management. There you have it. First position, Dwayne McKeever with an 88.3. Second position for Connor Shanahan with an 88, just 0.3 between Dwayne McKeever and Connor Shanahan. Third for Bagsy, our international driver, into the top 3 automatically. Remember, all these top 8 making it automatically to the top 16. Mikey Fitz in 4th position. Shane O'Sullivan in 5th position. Alan Hines taking 6th in his pro debut. Mark McBurney, what a run from him into 7th position. Had to do it all in the second run, but Brian Egan goes into top 8, finishing out the top 8. Now look who's got to do a top 24 battle. Jack Shanahan goes into 9th position. Joe Doyle in 10th position. What a performance from him. 11th for Danny O'Callaghan on his pro debut. Paul McCarthy again on his second run with the new turbo setup getting into 12th. Pete Nielsen couldn't get a second run done, but enough on his first to see 13th position. He tops Adrian Walsh in 14th position in the V8 Corolla. Mitch Larner, the Thunder from Down Under, 15th position right in the mid-pack. Liam Devlin, another pro debut, 16th position. 17th for Chris Brady. 18th for Kevin Quinn, getting it all done in that first run. 19th for another pro newbie, Alan O'Loughlin. Chris Burnett, another Pro-Am driver, qualifying into that 24. Oliver Evans jumping into 21st position, the Welsh driver, making it into the battles later on where he's going to be shining. Neil Dunn from on the Dream Weekend gets into the Pro Top 24 after coming in 3rd position yesterday in the Pro-Am. Michael Megan, look at this, back to his best, into 23rd position with a 71, and 24th position rounding out is Kieran Casey. And look at those big names that did not make it in. Issues for a lot of those guys, some mechanical, especially Dennis Murphy and Brendan Stone's case. But there you have it. That's the scoreboard rounded off, just 2 zeros after our qualifying session. And we are going to our top 24 battles at half 2 today. That's the boring part, in a way, the qualifying, where there's just 1 car on track. We go to 2 cars on track, top 24, half 2. From Ian and me and everyone else here in the tower, you got to be back tuned in. You guys got to be back in the grandstand and around Link Engine Management Corner, because we are going for top 24 battles at half 2. Until then, that's us from the tower. We'll see you guys later for battle action.
There's a reason that half the paddock, if not more here, runs Samco hose, and that's that nobody wants to be let down by a split water hose or a split boost hose. And with Samco, there's nothing to worry about.
With using these hoses, we get the reliability, they never burst, we can just rely on them, and that's all we need.
Half of the grid are running Semco hoses in their cars, and there's a reason for that. They're the best in the business.
I'm so happy to be running Samco hoses now, because in the past we have run other manufacturers' hoses and we have had the intercooler pipes collapsing, which obviously when you're under massive pressure on track, you have to be fully supportive and reliant on your hoses.
So a lot of people ask us over the years, you know, what hoses you run. Personally, I can't think of anything better than Samco. They do what they say on the tin, they work, they don't come loose, they don't fail on you, they don't pop. You can't beat Samco.
I've chosen to use VP racing fuel since I was a teenager racing motocross, which was 21 years ago now.
I've been using VP racing fuel for years, basically ever since I built my first race car, and you want to get that consistent fuel, it was VP through and through.
Absolutely,
right from the beginning.
That's the brand. Yeah, I've been using VP probably since I was 10 years old racing dirt bikes. There's so many different VP racing fuels to choose from. One of the best go-tos is definitely C16.
So we use C16 in our Formula Drift cars.
I run C16 in all my cars, outside of this one here. The 2 race cars here at the track, we run the C85.
And my supercharged Coyote-powered Mustang that's over in Europe, we use MS-109.
And a Ferrari car, I actually run MS-109.
VP has been making racing fuel for 43 years. They're the official fuel of multiple top series globally. No matter where we are in the world, no matter what fuel we need, it's always consistent. It's always perfect and exactly what we're expecting and our tuners expecting. They support myself, my Drift Alliance bros, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. Keep making amazing fuels, and we'll keep out there having fun.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
Okay, good.